Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ha'arakah, Kadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders, the great millstone who rule well, and shalom to the hopeful elect. This is News and Prophecy and News, and I got an article here from Sky News, which reads, STI syphilis cases at their highest since World War II. So we having an influx of syphilis at a raving high amount since the time of World War II. Campaigners say inconsistent testing has resulted in emergent STIs going undiagnosed by clinics. Right, so they ain't testing them properly. Cases of sexually transmitted infections are being diagnosed every 70 seconds as campaigners say soaring numbers of cases should be a wake-up call for the government. A report by the Terence Higgins Trust and the British Association of Sexual Health and HIV found diagnoses of syphilis are at the highest since World War II, and some STIs are going undiagnosed by struggling sexual health services. The State of the Nation report says nearly 500,000 cases of STIs were diagnosed in England in 2018. Over the last decade, cases of gonorrhea have risen by 249%. Wow. While rates of syphilis have increased by 165%. Young people, gay and bisexual men, individuals from some ethnic minority populations, and people living with HIV were found to be disproportionately affected. All right, nearly half of all the STI diagnoses were young people, with gay or bisexual men account for 75% of all syphilis diagnoses. All right, so it's showing you that a sexually transmitted infection is a form of disease. And when I say disease, I know there's STDs, but when I say disease, I mean disease, as in an unease in the body, all right, which is basically coming from what? A form, really committing an act, a homosexual sex homosexual sex basically is an improper use of the sexual organs. Basically, there's no reason why first off, two men laying together, there's wicked spirits at play, and everything starts from the spiritual, goes through to the mental. The spirit is put upon them men to bring it to their mind, to mentally gear themselves to want to do something physically. And then them doing those physical acts, there's repercussions, okay? Which is disease, like syphilis being 75%, right? And we can see a link here, because it says STI diagnosis were young people with gay and bisexual men account for 75%. Now we know gay people, what do? So if a man's gay, he lies with another man. If a woman's gay, she lies with another woman. But let's deal with a gay man, for example. If a homosexual man lies with another homosexual man, they're transferring that bacteria amongst each other. But now when you have a bisexual man now, which is said bisexual men, all right, accounting for 75%, what they're doing is now they're taking that disease that was in the realm of homosexuality, and they're crossing it over into where? Into the regular realm of things. That's why they account for such a high amount. All right, this is just proof here. 75%, that ain't no joke. All right, 75%, that ain't no joke. That's 3/4 of STIs being accounted for by young people with gay and bisexual men accounting for 75%. Right, so they're transferring it. That 25% is basically, you could say, the transferal over from bisexual men over into the realm of normal sexual dealings. And let's not forget, you have people that they're straight, but they may be putting it inside of doing anal sex, those kind of acts, which ultimately will be transferring over feces, a form of bacteria, into the vagina and causing different kind of STIs to happen. All right, because basically misuse of the sexual organs, this is why this is happening. All right. Some of the highest overall rates of STIs were reported in Black Caribbean and Black non-Caribbean, non-African populations. Damn. So you got Jake out here looking crazy. All right. So, and that shows you that them curses are heavily upon Israel, man. I will smite thee with diseases that you didn't know before, and also it's because of the thy wife shall be a harlot in a city. These are those prophecies coming to pass. Campaigners also warn inconsistent testing across sexual health clinics means some STIs, such as MGen, are going undiagnosed. All right. Government spending on sexual health services has been slashed by a quarter since 2014. Jonathan McShane, chair of Terence Higgins Trust, says the government must take action to curb spiraling rates of cases. All right, and let's not forget that where HIV, AIDS, that was created as what? As a form of eugenics to basically take out Jake's population upon the earth, a throwback to Egypt, which is placed spiritually as Sodom and Egypt. Okay, so they're trying to take us out the same way Pharaoh tried to take us out in Egypt. Government spending on sexual health services has been slapped. Local government has played a key role in improving sexual health, but has been held back by a combination of severe cuts to their public health budgets and a lack of clear national strategy, he said. So they don't have a strategy, but problem, reaction, solution. This is all going to play into what? Ultimately, the RFID chip, okay? Which a chip being put inside of someone's body. When do you see someone use a cannula, right, or inject people inside of a hospital, right? So this is befitting that these kind of problems are happening, that ultimately will lead to, if there's a epidemic with STIs, that also can play into the plagues dealing with the coronavirus. Because let's not forget, with the coronavirus, they're saying that they found strains of HIV and AIDS within the virus, okay, binding to it. So this is going to all play into it, man. This has resulted in the rates of some STIs spiraling and services struggling to cope with the demand. The impact of this is being felt most by groups already facing discrimination and stigma, who are shouldering in the heaviest burden of new STIs. He added the government must roll up its sleeves and get to work, because the current state of the nation is simply not good enough. Dr. John McSorley, president of British Association for Sexual Health and HIV, called for a joined-up approach to sexual health services, as this report highlights building a clear and positive new vision for the sector and its workforce is critical. He said a Department of Health and Social Care spokesperson said more people than ever are now able to access sexual health services, and we strongly urge people to take advantage of this free, all right, local service if they consider themselves to be at risk. Our new sexual and reproductive health strategy will be published this year. So this is what's going on around homosexuals and bisexuals, which really they're all the same thing. And among Jake, this STI outbreak is heavy among them, basically. So I'm going to read this. Is 2 Peter 2:6. And turn the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemn them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly. So you had the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, where you had men trying to lay down with two angels, all right, when they came unto Lot, showing you the perverseness of that place. And actually is going to go on to say, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. So Lot lived in Sodom and Gomorrah, but guess what? He was vexated with the conversation, the things, the kind of perverse things that they were always talking about, new and different ways to conduct their sexual activity that were heinous, man, ungodly. For the righteous man dwelling among them, in seeing and hearing, vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. And it's the same for us in this present time and period. But with all these acts, it's saying 75%, you got men that are bisexual and they're laying down with women that you may be lying down with, and they might even tell the women, man. That's how bad it can get, man. They could be telling the women, they could not be telling them, but guess what? They're spreading the disease with all this unprotected sex. Really, you shouldn't be having to protect yourself with sex, because sex is meant to be enjoyed, and it should be a healthy thing. But in a time that we're in, where wickedness is rife upon the earth, it's turned into, the production of the engaging in sexual activities is deadly. Bringing about life is a deadly. Imagine that. That's crazy, man. The process of bringing about life could lead to death. That's how crazy this world is, man. It's meant to be a pleasurable event, all right? But anyway, here's the point. Verse 6, and turn the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemn them with an overthrow, all right? Making fire and brimstone to rain from the heavens, all right? Making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly. And that's what's going to happen in this day and age. The Lord has allotted this kingdom the same destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, because it's, as I said previously, in Revelations 11:8, it tells you, or 11:7, it tells you that the Most High is basically gonna this place is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. So it's channeling the spirits of Sodom and Egypt, both places that were destroyed by the Heavenly Father. Okay. For every battle of the warriors with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. So warfare back in the day was done by what? Battlefields with swords swinging, arrows being shot, all different warfare on the field, warrior cries being made. But it says, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So this World War III is going to be done by burning and fuel of fire. That's because that allotted judgment that was an example aforetime with Sodom and Gomorrah, is now allotted to America, because that's example they didn't take heed of. They're now doing the same thing in this kingdom. So with that, I pray